The last 5 months of my life, I've completely changed my strategy. I've completely changed everything that I know about futures trading and turned it into scalping. At this point, I've made over $30,000 in the last 5 weeks. I love this so much. Instead of me just going into talking about my strategy and how I like to trade, I want to take the overall process of how you can become a scalper, looking at these shorter time frames, taking these quick trades and making money. I want to give you the overall ideology on how this works because I want you to take your own ideas, combine it into something, and make your own strategy out of it. There's 3 major topics we need to cover, and I'm going to make sure you understand them very clearly. I've never been one to overcomplicate this stuff or make you sound like I know more than you. I want to make this as easy as possible because trading already sucks. I did have a red day today. I'm down 17 points. Super small, nothing crazy. I am still up on the week though. If you want to get into and you already have been trading, I recommend you join my Discord. There's a bunch of free education and also a mentorship. It's $75, live trading every day, seminars every week, documents privately posted every single week, custom made tests that you can take every week that are about certain topics to get full confidence over the certain topic. It's the best value Discord you'll ever find because I intended to make it that way. The number one thing I want you to identify is what time frame you like to trade on. I've tried trading in ticks. I've tried the 30-second. I've tried the 15-second. Overall, I believe the 15-second is the best for you to scalp. Now, again, this can be totally customizable and I recommend you backtest all these ways. But the 15-second is definitely the best for me personally because I think it gives me a really good chance to identify buyers quickly or sellers in that case. I'm making sure every candle that gets printed out, I'm reading to make sure I can hopefully get an implication on future moves. That is the number one benefit of scalping, I think, is because I can really start to find big buyers and big sellers based on these moves. The first thing I want you to identify is trade execution. These moves that I see, they look massive. In reality, they are the smallest dot on the chart. We need to understand our position in the market and understand that we are only looking for a small dub. Basically, if we're scalping, we need to look for scalping plays. We only should be taking small dubs, which will inherently make your losses smaller and your frequency of trades going up. If you're someone who likes to trade supply and demand, like this zone I have on my screen, I really don't do that much anymore. I like to trade off of solely price action and candlestick wicks, but I love to have zones up on my screen just to identify certain areas and give me kind of an idea of what might be coming up with certain price moves once we hit a zone. Trading on the 15-second can bring a lot of fake outs to your day. Today I had a red day and 3 of those trades I just got liquidity swept on and I was cooked. I understand that that's what comes with trading on the 15-second. These moves that you see happen very quickly. I'm in trades for less than 30 seconds at sometimes, and sometimes it goes my way, sometimes it doesn't. Overall, make sure your zones are usually, I like to personally chart on the 2-minute. 1 minute is fine. 5-minute tends to be a little bit big. Just understand the zones that you draw on these time frames might be too big because if I have a 100-point zone that I found on the hourly time frame, my whole screen is going to be taken up by it and it's going to pretty much throw me out of all my trades. Going back into that again, there is a lot of fake outs on my trade executions. Biggest thing I will say, and I tell this to all the people in my Discord, all the people that have access to my strategy, it's inside my Discord if you want to go look. Because of the high frequency of these candles moving and how fast they close, you have to really wait for the candle close to get into trades because that is the only way you're going to verify a certain move. Waiting for the candle to close is going to give you the best confirmation of the trade. You will see 10 point, 15 point, 20 point moves in 3 seconds. And if you get into a trade before the candle actually closes, it could unconfirm or confirm a setup and give you more confidence going into it. The last thing I want to talk about with trade execution specifically is that you have to play with the current trend. I've realized and found out very quickly that you have to play with the trend. A trade like this that I took this morning is something that is very, very good to look back at. Obviously, big downtrend. Now, again, like I said earlier, just because this is being a huge sell-off on my chart and it looks massive, in reality, it's a very small dot on my screen, doesn't mean that it's not a bearish setup, but just because we have a big move like this does not mean that it's going to result in a continuation. Obviously, this is a pretty big sell-off. In my eyes, when I saw this print out, it gave me an idea that I should probably play with shorts because currently on the 15-second, you get to really zoom in and find out where the big fish are. And in that case, we saw a giant sell-off right here, a big wick. Ooh, a big wick came up, sold off, set up this little doji, not really a doji, but very, very ugly candle rejecting off a previous high, and we saw a big influx of sellers come in. Now, on the 1 minute, you would only get this one big candle. In this candle, I actually see multiple candles, again, top wicking, showing more sellers buying at even lower lows or selling at lower lows. And then, again, continuation. No sight of buyers. Then again, more drop. Finally broke through this zone, which again, I don't like to trade off of zones, but I like to see that obviously this was the previous low of day since open. And again, once we broke that, gave me more confidence to take shorts. And inherently, look, we caught in right at this previous buyback of the low and we sold off even more and we caught 20 points. But this is something I want to look at again. You have to wait for the trend to be confirmed because, once again, the whole benefit of you scalping and trading on these shorter time frames is to identify the move before it happens. Now, just because this is a giant move does not mean it is over. There's a huge influx of sellers that came in and we caught a good part of it, but you want to wait for the confirmed sentiment to be set. Once this happened, it showed me that the sellers are here. We can sort of notice it before it happens. Now we did see the big move, confirming our downtrend currently. Retesting, seeing a little buyback to this EMA, retesting a previous low, got in shorts, caught 20 points, called it a day. If you're going to take a trade and you can't identify the trend prior to it and you're not playing with it, you're going to struggle very much just because of how fast things move. You have a very higher chance to win a trade if you're playing with the current trend on these shorter time frames because of how fast things move. It's very hard to catch highs and lows with scalping. I really do think the money is at following the trend. The second thing I have to address is your mindset approaching the day in every trade you take. It's very important that however you like to scalp, you have a very solid and confident strategy to use before you start scalping. If you don't have a checked box system to find out how you like to take trades and when you like to enter trades, you are going to have thousands of entries a day. You really need to set up a way to really find the finite system to take trades off of. In my eyes, I just try to find the A++ setups. I have 3 really certain ways I like to take trades, and that's inside of my Discord. Again, having a rule like I do, where if I take 3 losses in a row on the day, I'm done. I have to step away. Meaning, I have to really make sure the trades I take are A+, because scalping, I could take 1,000 trades in a day. What does this show me? Again, this was right after this previous trade we took, but you can see, again, how fast things need to switch. Another thing about your mindset, quickly, I'm gonna break off of this. You have to be able to flip your bias very quickly. Just how I took this trade probably 5 minutes before this one, it was in the complete opposite direction. This was a bearish setup. I took it, I got out, moved on. New slate, gray area. Forget about everything you did before. Have to switch your bias. Look at this big buyback. So we see now we have to flip our bias. And why do I? Obviously, this is a very clear uptrend. But right before we got into this trade, indicating huge influx of buyers just came in, which is really nice because people will also identify that. What do we see here? We see a little doji, which does implicate a reversal. Again, on the 15-second, very small implications, but you can see price did fall off of it. And again, think about this candle at a certain time. Maybe someone would have saw this doji come in and they would have been like, all right, bet I need it. This is the time to short. You would have actually gotten an entry. You see how far this came down. You maybe would have hit 10 points, got out. Now, guess what? The candle closes, super big buyback. Candle closes, boom, you're in just like that. Very quickly. You have to be very quick with your trades. Boom, enter in SL below this wick. I love to trade off of these. These are amazing setups. This trade itself, banger. And it didn't play out, obviously, but look, we have a huge uptrend, little bit of a reversal, confirm buyers at a new high, sweeping it, boom, money, hopped in, alerted this to the Discord, was doing this live, and it didn't play out. It actually did. You can see we were pretty close to being in. I don't really call this a liquidity sweep, but we just got tapped out right to the tick. And you can see confirmed trend is one of the biggest things I talked about today. Confirmed trend, pull back to this EMA, confirmation of buyers on that wick right here. And we had everything we looked for, take the trade, boom, move on. We caught a loss, whatever. Another thing about mindset, it doesn't really apply, but contract size is extremely important. You need to have a very certain small amount of minis to trade with just because of the frequency you're going to take trades. I, again, use 4 minis right now. That is 3, but you know what I mean. My average right now is around $1,200 per win, $800 per loss. Now, that is not small in any sort. That's a lot of money, but it could be a lot bigger. The reason why that is so small is because of the volume I take trades at. I can take, again, 5, 6, 7 trades in a day. $10,000 days are not out of picture at all. 2 minis, I was making 5, 3, 4, 5 grand a day. You have to be an extremely nonchalant trader. Things change very quickly. You get stopped out very quickly. You could be done for the day very quickly. You can't care. You have to live by the checks and balance system, have certain things about your strategy that you need to see before you get into them. If they do happen, you take them. If they don't, you don't take them. And if you lose trades after your system was checked, A+ trades that we lose, we don't care about. The last thing I need to talk about is the people who become successful scalpers. Scalping is probably the worst thing to do if you are a new trader. You will quickly realize it's a lot easier to identify the trend on the hourly, daily, 15-minute time frame than it is on the 15-second. The more and more you zoom in, the harder it's going to be for you to take trades. I would suggest, if this is a style you would like to pick up, that you start to take the time to actually learn it. Again, I have a bunch of resources in my Discord, multiple videos going over my strategy, seminars every week directed towards scalping. And there's a million ways to do this, but I obviously have found success this way, and I've tried multiple other ways and it didn't work, but it could work for you. It's really important with trading overall that you stay extremely humble and very aware of your certain situation. I've been trading for 5 years. This is pretty much my entire life now. I'm okay and very confident doing this. If I just downloaded Webull on my phone the other day and I have no idea what future trading is, I wouldn't even fucking touch this with a 20-foot pole. I never thought I would be a scalper, but at this point, I'm pretty much set on it for a pretty long time, staying this way. So I'm loving it. I'm not gonna lie. It's very, very fun to do. But if you enjoyed this, let me know. I really appreciate it. I don't like posting on YouTube too much, so I really appreciate all the comments and the likes and shit. Subscribe if you want. If you like money, you probably should. If not, see you back at your job, man.